Liam Rosenior has been given the keys to Stamford Bridge. His time as head coach starts with a game against Charlton at the weekend. The official announcement has happened. Welcome back to From the Shed End. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, as always, please make sure you smash the subscribe button. Give this video a like. Before we get into anything, let's talk about the news that broke first of all earlier on. If you didn't already, make sure you go to the live stream that I did earlier on today. Spoke in depth about what I think we'll get from Liam Rosenior, also how tactically he might set up Chelsea, and also the fact that I think this is now the time for there to be a hint of skepticism. But we also have to get on board with what this manager or this head coach wants to try and do with this bunch of players, this group of young, talented players at Chelsea Football Club. He has to get the best out of them. And to be honest, we're in a situation as Chelsea fans where we have to back him. We have to back him. We have to back him more so than we do the owners, because they're the ones employing him. And we've got to get this right. This has to be, I think this has to be a really good appointment. And if it isn't, then as I said earlier on this morning, we have to start questioning the decisions that are being made by these sporting directors and this ownership as well. But let's get straight into the news that broke earlier on today. Liam Rosenior appointed head coach at Chelsea. It says here that Chelsea Football Club is delighted to announce the appointment of Liam Rosenior as head coach of the men's team. The Englishman has signed a contract with the club that will take him through to 2032. Now, what I will say in that, there is a break clause, I think after 12 months, where the break clause can come into play. So yes, it's a 5-year deal, I think even a 6-year deal. But at the same time as well, let's hope that is there's a reason for that. Let's hope that they've seen enough of him and they understand what he's trying to do, or what he's been trying to do at RC Strasbourg as well. They've seen a lot of that. But this is someone who has obviously, as it says here, managed Hull City, Derby County. And look, I mean, he led Strasbourg to European qualification for the first time in 19 years in his first season. He doesn't come with much, obviously, experience or any experience in the Premier League at all, but he did say that he's extremely humbled and honoured to be appointed head coach of Chelsea Football Club. This is a club with a unique spirit and a proud history of winning trophies as well. He's gone on to say that his job is to protect the identity and create a team that reflects these values in every game we play as we continue winning trophies. To be entrusted with this role means the world to me, and I want to thank all involved for the opportunity and faith in undertaking this job. I will give everything to bring the success this club deserves. And he's also going to say, I believe deeply in teamwork, unity, togetherness, and working for one another. And those values will be the heart of everything we do. They will be the foundations of our success. Also goes on to continue. But look, I mean, people are gonna question whether he's the right manager. People are gonna question whether he's the guy to take us forward. And like I said earlier, as I said, please go back and listen to the live stream. But look, we've got to just get on board now. We've got to get on board now. We have to get on board, because if we don't, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? He's here now. So we haven't got a choice but to back him, to give him time. I personally think, from what I've read and watched of Strasbourg and understand how he plays, like I said earlier this morning, there won't be much things tactically different than what Maresca was doing. I think we will see changes in terms of the opposition. So there will be moments where we play 4-2-3-1. We might actually play with the wing backs as well. You never know, with the 3-4-3 or, you know, the 4-2-4. As he's been known to play sometimes, he likes to stretch the game wide and use the wider areas of the pitch quite often, and then also try and entice and draw in the opposition on the press. So I think there'll be a lot of that. We'll dive into that over the next couple of weeks or so. But he's got a very good run of games coming up. I mean, just looking at the fixtures that we've got coming up now, there's a lot of talk already. Why is he not taking the Fulham game? I think, let's be honest, he hasn't had opportunity to train with these players. I know there's a lot of comparison with Tuchel when he took over before the Wolverhampton Wanderers game. He had one training session and took on that Wolverhampton game, if you remember. But things are slightly different. He's been away. Obviously flew to London, flew back to France to say his goodbyes to the Strasbourg fans and the press. And he's flying back to London today. So he hasn't had opportunity to take today's training session. That's been with Callum McFarlane, who we'll talk about shortly. and he hasn't had the opportunity to do so. So I kind of get why he doesn't want to just jump in and start his Chelsea head coach career with a defeat to Fulham, which is a possibility based on our inconsistent form this season. So I get that 100%. But make no bones about it. The objectives do not change for Chelsea this season. They don't change. Top 4, trophy. Those are the objectives. We're still in every single competition. Champions League, of course, the Premier League has drifted away from us, but FA Cup, League Cup, we've got some tricky fixtures coming up. But I want us to be able to go into these games. We've got Fulham tomorrow. We've got the FA Cup on Saturday at 8 p.m. We then go into that difficult game in the League Cup against Arsenal, but 2 home games. I mean, you're talking about the run of fixtures, I think, for the next month or so. They're winnable games. They are winnable. Fulham, winnable. Charlton, less said the better. Arsenal, I think, I said before, I'm going to say it again, I think they're going to take one eye off that Carabao Cup. I think by the time we get to the 14th of Jan, which is only, just over a week away, they're gonna have one eye on that sort of 6-point gap in the Premier League with Man City, and I think obviously it's a two-legged tie as well. So we want to win the home tie, of course. We then play Brentford at home, and then we have that home game against Paphos in the Champions League, followed by the Selhurst Park Sunday, 25th of January, Crystal Palace. So he's got a good run of games. It's not like he's walking into a really difficult run of fixtures with Man City, Liverpool, I don't know, another top European side in there. He's got games where, he's going to be given plenty of opportunity to start instilling what he wants into the players and tactically bring his own style of play to the club. So he's got plenty of opportunity to do that, and I'll be surprised if he doesn't. Because, look, I mean, he's obviously been headhunted by the owners. The owners wanted him. But he's got to get his philosophy, his way of doing things over the line very, very quickly. Because already there's talk about Chelsea fans not really buying into this appointment from the ownership. And I get it. Look, I said it earlier on. I get it. But he's here now. So we have to back him. We have to hope and pray that he can get something out of these players. And in my opinion, I think he can. I think he's got a good group of players. We know that anyway. We've seen Esteval, Cole Palmer, Josh Ashiempong, we know that, but it could take a couple of games to see that to get his ideas across. But Fulham tomorrow is a massive game. Massive game. Before we get into my prediction, let's hear what Callum McFarlane had to say this morning in the press conference.
They're all training today. We've got training in a few hours, so they'll be taking part in the session today. We'll have a lot better idea after the session. So we're hopeful.
No one ruled out?
Sorry?
At this point, none of those ruled out?
No, not at this point. So we'll look at training, see how they look, and make a call after that.
Yeah.
I spoke to Liam briefly last night. He's obviously really excited about taking the role. Just a brief conversation. So my understanding is he's going to be at Cobham later on today at some point. So I'm sure I'll catch up with him more on that. And the second part of your question, I've been told I'm leading the game tomorrow. So to try and do as best a job as we can, as we have done, and give him the 3 points to move on and build from. It was straight to business and getting on Monday morning and get ready for Fulham. So haven't had any time to think about anything else other than the next game. No, it was a great experience. It was a great challenge, something I haven't experienced before. So it was really enjoyable and I loved it and every minute of it. But it's still a football match. It's still 2 top teams with loads of top players playing, so there's a lot more to it than me against Pep in that moment. It was enjoyable. The same thing we did against City. Try and prepare with the limited time we have as best we can, and try and build on that second half performance. They know the belief we have in them, and we just want to keep reinforcing that. I think it was obviously impacted by Moises being suspended. So everyone knows how well Moises has played this year, and since he's come to the club, he's a top player, potentially the best player in the world at his position. So I think he'll help us with that tomorrow. We definitely missed elements of his game in that first half, but like you said, Andre came on, was exceptional in the second half, really gave us a foothold to control the game both in and out of possession. So I'm hoping bringing Moises now not being suspended, and being available, we should we should be able to really control that midfield area.
And after
So look, I mean, I want to start off by saying I think Callum McFarlane, I think stepping in very short notice, because from what it sounds like, he wasn't, a couple of days ago, didn't think he'd be taking the team training, leading the team out against Man City at the Etihad, and then now being told you still got to take today's training session and you're taking the team tomorrow at Craven Cottage versus Fulham. So I think we've got to credit how he's handled things. It can't have been easy. Obviously, it's a massive, it's a massive achievement for him, and it's something that I think he clearly can keep on his CV, whatever happens, regardless of him going back to the under-21s to play against Palace at the weekend. But I think he's got to take the positives from this, because handling the media, handling the team, getting a point against Man City, against Pep Guardiola, and still, being able to deliver what it seems like he can for the team in between this difficult period. So we have to credit Callum McFarlane for that. I think he's done a really good job. Even in the press conference, as you just said, he expects to be back at Crystal Palace. To get ready for Crystal Palace in the next couple of days or so. And he's obviously spoken to Liam Rosenior already. He expects to speak to him later on. He did mention that Moises Caicedo potentially will be back in the lineup for tomorrow evening's game. Marco Correa, Robert Sanchez and Dario Sugo all back in training and potentially in contention for some time to play against Fulham, or even in the Charlton game on a Saturday evening. But look, I mean, Fulham's a tricky one, because Fulham, when you watch them, you just don't know about them. You don't know how it's going to go. Obviously, they played at the weekend and they just got a deserving point. So I think they will make things difficult. Craven Cottage is always a difficult ground for us to go to. Obviously, the most local in terms of geographical. But we have to put this whole Maresca saga to bed. I think we have to make sure that we go there with the intention to get the 3 points. We know that top four is now looking like the objective, the most realistic objective. So we have to go into this game with the idea that we can actually get the 3 points. And I think if we take from what we did against Manchester City at the weekend and put that into this game and take those chances. I mean, I keep talking about the Pedro Neto miss, the chance that he had, but we've got to make use of the chances that we are creating. And hopefully, now I don't think Callum McFarlane will change too much from what he did against Man City. I generally don't. I think he'll try and keep it very much steadying the ship, keeping things ticking over till Liam Rosenior gets his training sessions in. And I don't think we will see much in terms of personnel changes in the lineup. I think it will be pretty much most of the same from what we got to see there. But I do think this is a very good moment to, obviously, the pack behind us in terms of the teams below us, and also trying to close that gap on the likes of Liverpool, the likes of Manchester United, making sure that we give ourselves a bit of breathing space in between those teams, trying to solidify the top four, going into what I would say is a very decent period of fixtures. As I said, Brentford, Crystal Palace at the end of the month as well. This is the moment where you want to try and get those wins. And Moises Caicedo, as much as Andre Santos played well, Reece James played well in that midfield, I think we do need to see the two of Fernandes and Moises Caicedo back in that midfield, just holding things together, allowing Enzo to drive forward with the ball, Reece dropping into the midfield, into inverting from the right back. I think we need to see that this game. There's going to be changes at the weekend. We know that with Charlton and the FA Cup. So let's kick on in the Premier League. Let's sign off Callum McFarlane's small stint as the head coach. Let's sign off his 2 games with 2 wins, or with a win and a draw against City. But let's go out there and do it for him, if anything. He deserves it after the way he's been handling things over the last week or so. But let's get into my predicted lineup and what I think will happen in this game. Now, obviously, Fulham played very, very well against Liverpool at the weekend, being able to get the point that they needed. I thought Harry Wilson played really well. For Jimenez also played well. Emile Smith-Rowe played well. Anthony Robertson. So we know they are a threat. They are a danger. I think the 2 in midfield, Carney and Lukic as well, very, very good for Fulham. But look, the team that we put out against Man City, I was shocked. I was very, very against it before kickoff. I thought Badiashile, Chalobah, we know what's going to happen. There's going to be problems. I thought Malo Gusto at left back, it wasn't going to work. But I'll be honest, I thought McFarlane got it right. I thought, Gusto playing Hato came into the game. We then got to see Josh driving forward from that right side. There were criticisms there. I think Pedro Neto, for me, had many opportunities, didn't have his best game. Neither did Cole Palmer or João Pedro. But there are things that I would change. Now, we know that Robert Sanchez is hopefully going to be back in the goalkeeper, in between the sticks. So I would stick with Robert Sanchez if it fits. Of course, he missed the game against Manchester City, but if he is fit, he's back in training, so I think we have to go with him. Now, I do feel harsh because I feel like Josh Ashimpong has to stay in this team somehow. I think he's a very, very good centre-back and a very good right back as well, but I think Caicedo has to be in that midfield. Enzo Fernandez has to be in that midfield. So the two options are we either bring Josh Ashimpong to right centre-back and drop Chera Chalobah, because I think Wesley Fofana will be back in the team, or we put Josh Ashimpong back on the bench. Now, I have to be honest again. It's tough. I don't know. I think as a team, I think we'll go with what we think we know best, and I think that is to stick with the two that have played the most probably this season in terms of Chalobah and Fofana, and they've probably looked the most solid without Levi Colwill as a centre back partnership. So I'd go with those two. Now, I do think Malo Gusto will be in the team. I'm not really... I hate seeing players that are being played out of position. Naturally a right-sided player, a right back, a right wing back. But he did play well there against Man City. And I think Harry Wilson will be a problem for Fulham. I really do. And he normally tends to play off the right-hand side for Fulham. So I think Gusto starts the game. Maybe he brings João Neto in. Maybe because Cucurella is fit again. And you would expect Cucurella not to play actually in the game at the weekend against Charlton. But I don't want to just throw him back in the game because he seems fit again. I think this is the game where you could get away. We've given Cucurella just a week's rest. Obviously this week's game and the weekend game, and bring him back for the following game after that. But let's leave it at Gusto for now. Now, I'm going for Enzo Fernandez. I'm going to go for Moises Caicedo in the midfield in the two. I think we need to see that a lot more. Now, Cole Palmer, Esteval and Neto started against Man City. I have to be honest, I still think Cole Palmer, I said it earlier in the live stream, I don't think Cole Palmer is fully fit. I really don't. I don't know what's going on with him. He just doesn't look like the player that we saw last season and the season before that. But I think that comes down to injuries, burnout. He's played a lot of games for managers at Chelsea. I would essentially not play him in this way. I wouldn't play him in this game. I would take him out of the team. I'd give him a rest. Again, I think we've got enough. I'd put him on the bench if we need him. We've got him there. I would actually bring in Pedro Neto, but I'd bring him on the right-hand side this time as well. And then I would bring in Jamie Gittins. I just don't know. I feel like my heart's tied between do you start Cole Palmer? We're going to start Cole Palmer. He's not going to start on the Saturday game, is he? He's not going to start against Charlton. I want to see better performance from both of them, though. I think Esteval on the right, Cole Palmer in the 10, and I think Pedro Neto on the left. But we have to see more. There has to be more togetherness on the same page between Esteval, Palmer and Neto, because the two wingers, Esteval, Neto against City, just didn't really do enough in that game. The one player that I do think needs to come out of this team is going to be João Pedro for Liam Delap. Now, I've got to be honest, as much as Liam Delap did do some very good things against Man City, I feel like we've just brought this wrestler, this WWF wrestler that just wants to bully people and cause arguments and get under people's skins, which is great if you're scoring 50 to 20 goals a season. But if you're struggling to get in the team as it is, just score the goals first. Get the goals. No one cared that Diego Costa loved a bit of shithousery. We didn't care because he was scoring goals. But if you're not scoring goals, if you're not doing what you're in the team to do, and all you're doing is picking up pointless yellow cards and being stupid on the pitch and riling up the players and riling up the fans, then it's pointless. Then it's absolutely pointless. We may as well just start with a false nine, because you're not offering anything if you do that. So I've gone with Liam Delap anyway, after saying all that, because I think we do need someone who's a bit more physical in the box in terms of being able to cause a nuisance from free kicks and corners. I think he offers you a lot more. And I want to see his link-up play. I really think with Liam Rosenior coming in, I think obviously working previously with Liam Delap, ironically as well, the only game, I think Maresca went on a really good run. I think it was like 13 games unbeaten for Leicester. The only game he lost the game to was Hull City when Liam Rosenior was in charge and Liam Delap scored that goal for Hull City. But I think with Rosenior coming back in, I think we'll see a lot more of Liam Delap. I think he'll favour him. He's worked with him before. He understands him. So I think maybe McFarlane will give him the opportunity tomorrow to show what he can do and maybe give himself that opportunity to be the permanent number 9 for Chelsea. But he's got to take them chances. He's got to take the chances. And don't be an idiot as well while you're trying to do that. But that's my lineup. That's what I've gone with. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. What would you change? And what is going to be the predicted scoreline? That's what everyone wants to know. But I'm going to go with a Chelsea 3-1 win. I think this has to be a convincing sign-off. As I said, let's do this not just for the fans, but also for Callum McFarlane as well, who, like I said, has dealt with things very, very well, positively, from a sort of interim standpoint. I think you can't really fault him for that. But we need to see more from this Chelsea squad. We really do. Because, look, the games are coming thick and fast. The teams behind us are collecting points. The teams in front of us are collecting points. We just have to stay amongst the mix to try and get top 4 this season. Hopefully we do. But let's hope this Liam Rosenior news coming in changes some mentalities as well at the club. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's hope we get the 3 points tomorrow. We'll be back with a match review after the game. Let us know what you think beforehand. Until then, thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon.